The Eagles hit the ground running for their first in-person offseason training program, but with a lot of new faces and new changes, the team's priorities have already changed this offseason. Plus, hear why multiple insiders are predicting the Eagles to go wide receiver with their first pick in the first round of the NFL Draft. What? And despite signing DeVonta Smith to a new mega contract yesterday, you won't believe the Eagles' available cap space right now and what it'll look like in the future. I'm Thomas Mott. This is the Thomas Mott Show. Well, I know it seems early, but the Eagles did hold their first voluntary offseason program yesterday at the NovaCare complex, and all eyes were on who exactly was going to show up, because you never know when it comes to NFL players when the word voluntary is included, but always good to have maximum attendance, especially in a year where everyone has to learn both a new offense and new defensive system. And while attendance was reportedly pretty good yesterday, Jeff McClain confirmed via the Inquirer that the Eagles started their offseason program this morning at the NovaCare complex. They had near perfect attendance and were made aware of the few who plan to be absent per a source. Now that all sounds good, but as of today, we still don't know who the few planned absents were. Hopefully we'll find that out maybe later on this week. Still though, but the limited media we did get showed a lot of familiar faces. You see them all here, arriving early yesterday morning to begin preparing for the 2024 season. Now, if you're wondering exactly what will happen during the first OTAs, SI.com called it a 2-week period, which was called Phase 1 of the offseason program, where activities limited to meetings, strength and conditioning, and physical rehab only. So I wouldn't expect any videos coming out from the Eagles' Twitter accounts with on-field drills or pass-catching drills with helmets on like you're seeing on your screen from last year's OTAs. You still should expect a lot of working out, conditioning, and, of course, meetings, which the Eagles did give us a tiny glimpse of via just 4 pictures on their Twitter account, the first of which showing Jalen Hurts and new running back Saquon Barkley breaking a huddle after presumably some conditioning work. Next is Dallas Goedert doing some single-arm lat pull-down, followed by Saquon Barkley throwing up some 90s on the incline alternating dumbbell bench press. And lastly, you see our new starting center, Cam Jurgens, and Landon Dickerson doing some sort of core balance drill with a medicine ball. Not sure what that is, but you get the gist. Now, I know it's not the most exciting stuff in the world. It's not like it's day 1 of training camp where you're actually going to get, 11 on 11 or 7 on 7, but still, it's nice to hear that most of the Eagles, 95% of them, were all inside the building. No one was not there who was supposed to be there, and they're getting after it and getting ready for what's going to be a very, very interesting 2024 year. Plus, the Eagles social media team did give us this fun video where they gave the players their morning affirmations as they arrived at the NovaCare complex.
I'm bearing gifts already.
Good morning. 1% better every day.
You owe it to yourself to be the best you could possibly be. I needed this.
Don't weather the storm. Be it.
Have a great day. It's a great day to have a great day.
Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That might be one of mine.
Believe in yourself, believe in each other. Go Bird.
We're not hungry, we starving, baby.
Can you read?
There are
that's
3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Eagle Social asking you to be in the video.
The most important thing is to be where your feet are.
Love it. Thank you. Should I read out loud?
Yeah.
Make the most of today. Before you doubt yourself, trust yourself. It's good advice right there. Grow every day, attack every day.
Perfect. You either win or you learn.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm going to control things I can control. That's how you get better.
10% of life is what happens to you. 90% is how you respond. That's an unreal quote. I'm taking it.
We have a standard for ourselves, and it only rises. Amen.
Nothing will work unless you do. Hey, that's a great one.
Stay you, stay true, go Birds.
I hinted at it a couple of minutes ago, but the most important part of this first OTA 2-week session is the ability for players to meet new OC Kellen Moore and new DC Vic Fangio and really begin learning the framework of what will be 2 brand new offense and defensive schemes. Like, remember back in 2021, the Birds' offense and defense struggled under first-year coordinator Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. It was really year 2 in those same systems when people started getting more familiar and everything started to kind of click on their way to a Super Bowl appearance. Now, there is a difference between that roster in 2021 and the roster in 2024. The 2024 roster is much better. The 2021 roster had very few wide receivers. You remember rookie DeVonta Smith. Jalen Hurts was more of a runner than a thrower. A lot has changed, but you get my point. You want to learn these new systems as quickly as possible. That way there isn't any rust or any learning during the actual games. Now, we're a little over 2 weeks away from the NFL Draft, and yesterday and today we did get some more news confirming that, 1, Kool-Aid McKinstry did have his top 30 visit on Monday, and today, Washington tackle Troy Fautanu is in Philadelphia for his top 30 visit. Now, neither of these are a big surprise. We talked about this as potentials last week, but we always are wondering, is it actually going to happen? Are you actually going to be in Philadelphia for a top 30 visit? And it looks like 2 of these guys were there, both of whom will presumably be on the Eagles' radar with number 22 overall. What surprised me more, though, was this SI.com article from earlier this week saying that it wouldn't come as a surprise if the Eagles drafted a wide receiver in the first round. If not there, then perhaps with one of their 2 picks in the second round, either at number 50 or 53. Which was echoed by the always, and I get it, very controversial talking head Elliott Shore-Parks, who said that there's a good chance when the Eagles are on the clock at 22, the best available player is a wide receiver. This is a special wide receiver class. Passing on a wide receiver for a lesser player at a position with a perceived bigger need would be silly. Piggyback in the report from a month ago that the Eagles were enamored with Texas Longhorn wide receiver Xavier following his lightning-fast pro day, and the potential of a first or second-round wide receiver, I guess I don't agree with it, but you see it here. It's gaining more steam than I personally would like. And listen, I get the argument. This is a historically great wide receiver class, and the Eagles don't necessarily have a super need at any position, although we all agree they need help at defense. So if the best player available is a wide receiver at 22, then how could the Eagles pass up on him, which, again, I just don't agree with. Don't you think defensive back or pass rusher or tackle or linebacker are all more important than a wide receiver at 22? Did they not just give DeVonta Smith a multi-year extension, meaning that at best, if you did get a first-round wide receiver, he would be the, third, fourth receiving option behind AJ, Smitty, and even Dallas Goedert? But okay, I'll run with this for a second. It's worth mentioning that the 2 receivers who make the most sense and will probably be there at 22 are the aforementioned Xavier and LSU's Brian Thomas Jr. Now, Thomas Jr. is a big play wide receiver, and again, he'd be very, very fun, but he's a luxury item on an offense that's already stacked and, again, needs to focus their resources more towards the defense. In the end, though, it is worth noting that there's a lot more smoke put out over the month heading up into the draft than there's actually fire, and really what could be happening is Philadelphia trying to convince people, hey, we want a wide receiver, when in reality they're focused in on Fatanu, the tackle, or they're focused in on Jared Verse, the pass rusher, or Cooper DeJean, or Chop Robinson, or the bevy of defensive players that we've talked about being way higher up on the Eagles' need board. And I think Diana Rossini said it best 4 days ago when she said, quote, just had an insightful draft conversation with a GM who strongly reminded me about 20 times that most teams are still undecided and no team is leaking to anyone who they are picking. Most organizations aren't even settled on who they are taking. Again, take everything with a grain of salt. Draft rumors are exactly that. They're draft rumors. But when stuff is reported, we talk about it here, and then you guys can do with it as you will. Now, speaking of DeVonta Smith, we got more contract details this morning, and you guys are really going to like this. Come on. Look, his first 2 years, his cap hit is $8.1 and $7.6 million. The cap only gets crazy in terms of hurting Philadelphia in 2028, but by then, he'll either have received a brand new deal or they won't have him as an Eagle. I think the first is probably a lot more likely. I think all in all, Howie's masterclass of an offseason was best summed up by Kendall Beck's tweet today when he said the Eagles are likely going to have around $50 million in cap space available in 2025. And that's comical when you think about how Hurts, Barkley, Brown, Smith, Goddard, Dickerson, Mailata, CJ, GJ, Huff, etc. are all locked up through at least 2026. So as Eagle fans, you got to look back and remember, this offseason has been absolutely incredible, and you now have basically all of your star players locked up for at least the next 2 seasons, maybe even the next 3 through 2028. You also have 8 draft picks, 2 of which are in the second round, so 3 in the first 2 rounds coming up 2.5 weeks from now, and then $50 million next offseason. We keep talking about a winning window or a championship window, as people like to call it. There's no guarantee that any team other than the Chiefs are going to be, in a championship window for the long term, but the Eagles have set themselves up to be in a window starting this season and hopefully for many, many seasons to come. Now, we got plenty more stuff happening the next couple of days and weeks as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft, including our Wednesday Link Live tomorrow night, myself and Josh Davis, where we give you guys the ability to join our NFL Draft League, where you can potentially go and win the league and get an Eagles jersey of your choice. More details on that, exactly how we do it, go in on tomorrow night. Be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the notification bell, the way you're notified when we do go live. I'm Thomas Mott on a Tuesday. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.